So we are back on the Pivot series. Thank you for those of you who've been following this conversation. And I'll tell you, it's been most impressive to engage people from so many different fields and so many different worlds and so many different geographic locations as we're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our goal here is to talk about how people are pivoting as it relates to what it is that we're all experiencing. Today, we have a dear friend of mine, Darren Dubose, coming to us from Houston, Texas. Well, I thank you for taking the time to share your story. So, I mean, Darren, you're out there in Houston, Texas. You're originally from the Black Belt of Alabama. Talk to me about just your general reaction to this space that we find ourselves in that we're calling the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, so this time is really, really difficult. I don't think in a million years, I would have never imagined this space. However, it has been very, very reflective for me. And even though we are in the times, I find that I am really, really grateful just to have an opportunity just to engage with myself. But I also acknowledge that I come in with a lot of privilege as well. So.
Great. Well, you talk about reflection. Tell me a little bit more of that. What are some things that you've been reflecting on? And, just share what some of the routines have been that you've been experiencing through this time that you've had.
Yeah. So I've been reflecting through journal. This is my first time actually like picking up a journal. So that's been fun. I've also been seeking out therapy and just trying to understand who I am as a person. So when I come out of this, that I can come out on top. And so it's been really, really beautiful just to address some of the things that have happened along my journey, just so that when we do come from this, that I can, remain focused and just realign with my true self and understand what is my purpose and my passion for being on this earth. So it's been really remarkable, Fluke. I really cannot tell you that I have enjoyed this process. I wake up and I journal for about 5 minutes, and then I do like some positive affirmations. So I have like a whole post-it notes all across my apartment. So that's been a lot of fun. But just generally like just listening to podcasts and just really just being in touch and in tune with myself.
Wow, that is great. That must be a very rewarding and refreshing experience. Now, talk to us a little bit about what you do professionally and how you've been maintaining what you do remotely.
I am an educator by day and an advocate by night. So it has been really, really busy. Our student and our families have been a lot of my student families have been struggling just a bit just with like this online work, and it's been really challenging to engage the distant process with online learning. But I'm optimistic that our students are finding ways to engage in that. So like we're still like rolling out work and we're making sure that we're accommodating student work. So that's been very exciting. By night, I work with One Houston. I'm an advocate, pushing and making sure that student and families get what they need and they deserve. So that's been a lot of fun, but really, really busy just making sure that students and families have their needs met across the city of Houston, and just making sure that I'm just, standing in the fold for those who are not fortunate enough.
Wow. Now, I know your advocacy journey very well, and I know it came from choosing to step into leadership positions at an early time in your life. I want to commend you for the efforts you put forth for the Black Belt students to not be left behind. For those of you who don't know what the Black Belt is a portion of Alabama, which socioeconomically struggles a great deal. And Darren is a direct product from Butler. I have been following your advocacy journey for a while. And I know that at the beginning of the pandemic, you really stepped forward for your hometown. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what the end result was?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from the Black Belt. Thank you for mentioning that. The Black Belt essentially is 18 counties across the state of Alabama. The name derived from the rich soil of Alabama, and like also throughout the Mississippi Delta as well. But the campaign started on the lines of just making sure that just speaking up and standing up and being a voice for the voiceless. Just making sure that testing was provided to those counties. So originally testing was not provided throughout those counties. There may have been 2 or 3 testing sites. And so that petition just asked for direct testing sites throughout the Black Belt, 1 in each county. to be exact. And so we have seen some leverage on that. And so that's pretty exciting. And hopefully we can continue to see not only just Alabama, but across this country, people getting access to testing and access to all of the things that they need to be able to survive this global pandemic.
I want to thank you for that work because we are seeing some movement, and you're right, that testing is going to be key. People are struggling right now. People have lost loved ones. People have lost their jobs. People have no idea how they're going to balance school being closed and remaining an engaged employee in the workforce. People are struggling, and they need to hear from people like you who are very positive. Why don't you just give me a freestyle message that someone out there might benefit from to help them get through this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah. That's a really good question, and you're right. And I definitely want to just acknowledge that people have been struggling, and this is a very difficult time for ones. And I just would like to say that we can definitely maximize and use this time to be able to come out on top. And so I think like what I would want to tell people is just to stay focused and stay aligned, and just make sure that that thing like the brighter day is coming, right? And so like just being in touch to know and being very optimistic that things are going to happen and things are going to be great.
Thank you for taking the time to share with me and those who follow the Pivot series. It means a lot. And so you keep doing all the good things that you're doing to prepare yourself to get back to what it is that you do best.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pfluger.